Finally, we are here. This is the last episode talking about hip-hop artist Cardi B and her latest album, Invasion of Privacy. Ooh, it took a long time to get here. I'm gonna have to get out this studio. So today we're gonna be covering the song I Like It from Cardi B's album. It's a very popular song and it's one of the top rated tracks. So I Like It was a very Latin type song. It had bass drums in the background, making it seem like a trap beat was going on while the song was playing, and it was very catchy. In fact, Cardi B featured Latin artists Bad Bunny and J Balvin on the track, and they were rapping in Spanish the whole time. I didn't know what they were saying, but hey, I could dig it. So in this song, Cardi B talks about the usual. She likes nice cars, she likes million-dollar record deals, but what I focused on is when she started talking about her appearance. She says, and I quote, "They call me Cardi Barty, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale." Okay! Western society and Western culture overemphasizes physical appearance, and this has led to many feeling bad about their bodies, having negative body image, and having self-esteem issues. When we look at white women specifically, there's a pressure to be thin. I know I've talked before about there being more of an acceptance of curvy white women nowadays, but even when we look at white women that are seen as curvy, they are still very thin. For example, let's look at Jessica Biel. She's regarded by mainstream media as having curves, but as you can see, she's not really curvy at all. Yeah! But then again, that's my opinion, and I come from a different culture, a different group of people. When we look at Latin society or Black society in the Americas, in Western culture, there is more of an emphasis on being curvy, being bigger, being thicker, and what have you. So here is this dichotomy where you have white women feeling the pressure to be thin, and you have Hispanic or Black women feeling more of a freedom to be a little heavier. We see this in pop culture, especially in hip hop. There was Sir Mix-a-Lot with his song, and when you look at Telemundo, you see more curvy Latin women or Hispanic women, Latinas. So basically, body image is constructed by one's cultural background. I looked at a study by Laura Romo and her colleagues on this issue, and it explored it in more detail, this time looking at Mexican teenagers between the ages of 14 and 16. These Mexican teenagers, Mexican girls to be more specific, were located in Central California. The study looked at how they perceived their body image in America. What these girls said is that when it comes to white women, if they are overweight, their families, their communities pressure them to be more thin, and it's seen as a stigma. Whereas in Latin communities, there is more of a freedom to be curvy, a freedom to have a fuller figure. These girls were also critical of white celebrities or white women who wanted to have an unnaturally thin body, such as Victoria's Secret models. No shade, but when you look at Victoria's Secret models, they are extremely thin, and if society wants women to be like that, specifically white women, that is almost impossible considering people's stress levels, considering how much they have to work, how much time they can actually dedicate to working out. That's a hard job. But this study also found that even for these Mexican girls, they dealt with body image issues when trying to conform to white society. In many cases, white society might not be accepting of the Latina standard for beauty or curves on one's body. Interestingly enough, these girls felt that they were fat when they didn't have an hourglass figure, so they wanted a slim waist. Basically, these girls felt if they had a pot belly or their stomach girth was bigger than their waist girth, then they were overweight or fat. It was a very interesting study to me because I never thought about it. Being in a Black community or a community of color, we are more accepting of curvy bodies, but you're considered fat when you have a large stomach. So if you have big breasts and you have a big derriere, you're fine as long as your waist is small. But when your stomach is big, then that's a no-no. This is a good point to talk about when we think of body dissatisfaction in the Americas and when we think of body image issues. White women may have a different stance on it than Black women actually do. With the exception of more curvy bodies, you might see a change in how white women are perceived in the Americas. And when I say Americas, I really mean the United States. Well, that wraps it up for our talk on Cardi B and the themes from her album. I'm so happy to be done with this. You don't know how crazy this run has been, always trying to pick apart songs and trying to come up with themes. People have been telling me, hey, you can't pick on a pregnant lady. I haven't been picking on a pregnant lady. I've just been speaking my mind and looking at media, trying to explore, and trying to teach you all about media literacy. Media can impact you. And let me actually leave you with this quote. Media is an all-pervasive mechanism by which girls learn about beauty ideals prevalent in a culture. Men have certain expectations, women have certain expectations, and then we can even go further and say that black men have certain expectations, white women have certain expectations. It's a very deep subject. So thanks for watching this episode of Ruining Your Faves. Feel free to leave questions, comments, or concerns in the comment section below. And please subscribe. You don't know what you're missing.